Okay, maybe the end? I say that because I just finished the two puzzles that the entire game's been funneling me towards. Like everything I've been doing was to solve the gold dome puzzle and this puzzle. So let's do it. So this thing is or the like the cover of the original Riven game. I'm taking a screenshot of this. Bear with me for 1 second. Just want to get a good screenshot of this. So it's probably going to be my new wallpaper. And also nobody's watching yet, so yo, I'm saving a screenshot, or trying my damnedest to anyway. Okay. Turning second display on. We're looking good. Turning game back on. Okay. Interesting. I'm gonna save right here. In case I need to save that screenshot again. And then we're, well, let's see. Don't rightly know where I'm going. Two closed doors. Open hands. Oh, oh shit. Don't shoot me. Well, that's one way to progress. Where am I now? That looks like the tree on Prison Island. Might just be a coincidence. And I'm in that structure now. Hey. How do I leave? Oop.
Katerina e now da saya yapalo. Yapa ay manay yalepo.
She's talking about Catherine.
Milti sai. Bekaretere wira pe yelo kene falapo. Tisai. Why te fulupe? Now Katerina ne. Wisi fapolo ya sepe yai.
Well, she seems nice enough. A note from Catherine. I write quickly from my prison. Along with this journal, I have instructed Nayla to return the book that the Moiety intercepted upon your arrival. After questioning her, I've concluded that it was written by Atris for a very specific purpose. Gen will wish to use it, though he will undoubtedly be suspicious. Once he's out of the way, you'll still need the combination to release me. I'm told he keeps it somewhere in his outpost on 233. Then I assume we're to signal Atris. I think I know how it might be done, but don't attempt it before I'm released. Once Gen is out of the way, you'll still need the combination to release me. I'm told he keeps it somewhere in his outpost on 233. Is that an age? Okay. It's been 1 week since I linked to Riven, and I'm still reeling from the changes I've witnessed. Even before my eyes could adjust, the smell of my homeland embraced me. The sweet salt air was instantly familiar, but the scene that soon resolved was not. As I stood there, struggling to make sense of what I was seeing, a violent clang sounded, and bars appeared before me. It was then that I must have been darted, for my memory after is cloudy. A Rivenese man, shabbily dressed in militaristic attire, was shouting something at me. He seemed to be attempting to speak Denis, but his grasp of the language was so poor that I could not make out his words. And then the world went dark. Many voices passed until at last I awoke to a familiar face, Eddie. For all this time, she's still as warm and kind as ever, and yet the years have clearly wounded her as they've wounded everyone whose world became a prison when Gen was trapped here. Everything is tinged with pain and loss, even Etty's bright smile, though she does her best to hide it. A desperate urgency, squelched by unuttered fears, seethes beneath her cordial veneer. When Atris and I left Gen here, all those years ago, I was haunted by visions of what had become of my people, and how they might have come to suffer under his rule. But the injustices I imagined were nothing compared to the atrocities that have actually come to pass. The following is a chronicle of what I have learned, a record of all that has happened should I no longer be here to tell it. What are those scribbles? It's screenshot worthy, but I'm not drawing that. The moiety. It seems the confrontation that led to Gen's entrapment on Riven was witnessed by some of the Rivenese. Their interpretation of the event was skewed, no doubt due to Gen's overinflated view of himself. Atris and I had hoped that stripping him of his ability to link to other worlds might lead people to conclude that his claims of godhood were false, but it appears the opposite has come to pass. If Gen was a god, and we had vanquished him, then we must be greater gods. It was thus assumed that my absence was only temporary and that I would surely return one day to set the world right again. Thus the Moiedi, the name they adopted after Gen's disparaging use of the term, were born, sworn enemies of Gen and devotees of me. I had no inkling of this misconception about myself until 2 days ago, though in hindsight it makes perfect sense given the way I've been treated. For their part, they naturally assumed an omniscient deity might be well aware of their own divine status, so there was no need to inform me. I only finally pieced it together during a recent underground gathering where they reenacted their version of the story of my life, a riveting tale that culminated with a confrontation between Atris, myself, and Gen at the edge of the fissure. The events had been exaggerated to such grandiose proportions that I found it hard at times to suppress my laughter, and yet this myth has also given them the courage to stand against Gen, and the hope that they might someday be delivered from the relentless inhumanities of his authoritarian rule. Even so, the fact that I am the one who's been cast as their savior, an omnipotent being who would one day return to Riven, overthrow Gen, and lead them to a new paradise, is deeply unsettling. I would do anything to free my people from this hellish existence, but I am not who they think I am. How, though, can I dissuade them from their notion without also crushing their hopes. Oh shit, I knew this was a thing. As Gen's power grew, so did the moiety, and in order to evade his persecution, for he would wipe them all out in an instant if he could, they had to become more and more adept at concealing themselves. No Falcon fighting jet today. We're solving puzzles, 90s style. They make use of a network of caves so far he has failed to discover, but I fear it's only a matter of time before they're found out. 3 Bolu must be lit. Secret passage to the rebel linking room. Okay, we're gonna copy this down. I guess we'll put it in Prison Island. We're not technically in Prison Island, but we'll go Prison Island slash Tay. This is on the path to the village, the lower level. I knew that spot looked like a door. Rebolo must be lit. To Rebel linking room. Further jeopardizing their existence is the fact that the moiety absolutely refuse to sever their ties with those who have sided with Gen. The two factions thus live together in surprising harmony, their overarching sense of cultural unity appearing to outweigh the schism, at least for now. I heard today that Father and Enant were inducted into Gen's labor force. I so longed to see them, but a dimness shrouded Etty's face so abruptly when I asked for them that it left me hesitant to press the matter further. I must know the truth eventually, but I fear the news will not be good. From the moment of their inception, the moiety have sought to disrupt Gen's plans at every turn, sabotaging his constructions, stealing from his precious stockpiles, and keeping an ever-watchful eye on his every move. They shrouded themselves with dark coverings, and delight in the fact that their enemies are often frightened by their wraith-like appearance, and their almost preternatural ability to wreak havoc without detection or consequence. So they're terrorists. It was in the course of one of these forays that I was fortuitously rescued when I first linked to Riven. I shudder to think what might have become of me had that scout not been there to intervene. It sounds suspiciously like what I went through. Gen will certainly be hunting for me now, no doubt furious at his guard's failure to detain me. He must be even angrier, though, at the loss of the linking book he surely assumes I brought with me, that I was deceived into linking it into Riven without a way back. Is a bitter yet fortunate fact, for it may well have meant the death of us all, had the path back to Denis fallen into his destructive hands. When he finally discovers that I came here empty-handed, he'll be angrier still. That is some consolation, at least. What is going on here? Series of triangles with one colored in. A dagger with something attached to it. We'll screenshot that. I've glimpsed the final breath of a dying age. A tiny blade cuts the void, the white hole divided, again and again. Dipped in black, the nib drips red, the art of genocide. Today I ventured above ground to see for myself what has become of the island. I hoped it wouldn't be as bad as the moiety had reported. It was worse. Having lived with it for so long, the Rivenese have become inured to the steady decay around them, but I was devastated. As we wound our way through the underbrush, I found myself once again breathing in my youth, the ocean air transporting me back in a matter of seconds. But as my eyes again took hold, the warmth of those moments vanished, and I was left with nothing but numbness. We had reached a bluff that had not been there the last time I visited home. Riven, which was once one island, has split into 5 distinct pieces that have since drifted apart at an astonishing rate. 4 of these have been claimed by Gen and his exclusive domain. Only those who have sworn to their loyalty to him are ever allowed access to them. From my vantage point at the edge of the trees, I could see 3 of them, now blighted with Gen's monomaniacal constructions. These islands are closely guarded and pose great personal risk to the moiety. So what's the one that he doesn't control? Jungle? That would make sense. Maybe. Though that hasn't kept them from doing whatever they can to thwart Gen's endeavors there. Okay, this is Dome Island. This is Survey Island. This is Jungle Island. The 4th island I could not see, as it has crept away to some distance and now lies concealed by fog. That's Prison Island. The moiety said that Gen originally governed from this small island, living and working in a protected space he built for himself, the top of a stump that remains where the great trees stand. Yeah, definitely. The only surviving forest is located here, on the largest island, Jungle Island, where the village also remains. This island was ostensibly intended to be the province of the people, but it too has been irrevocably marred by Gen's oppressive instructions. I don't think this has much importance. Words fall, brittle brown leaves masquerading as green, should never have held lives both bloomed and as yet unseeded. I feel nothing today. I'm an outcast among outcasts, a diaspora of a dying world. Despite my repeated protestations, the moiety continue to treat me differently, their desperate need precluding any dissuasion from the belief that I am some sort of messiah come to save them. They misconstrue my every move as validation of their faith, whispering of how I walked the island, bold and unafraid, mistaking my outrage at the island's devastation for bravery. But I am afraid, for I know something that the moiety do not. The underlying reason for the island's accelerated decay. Gen wrote this world, and so it will fail, as all of Gen's ages ultimately fail. I must make the moiety understand this, but I cannot talk to AT. There were brief moments, soon after my arrival, when my divine status was forgotten and I was simply Katrin again, but they are almost non-existent now. There's one person, however, who seems immune to these fallacious notions, Nayla. Her gaze has never faltered whenever I've dared hint at the uncomfortable truth. I feel I could trust her to bear the full brunt of it. Dagger. That's a star symbol. Yen is making books. How did I not know this until now? Atris and I knew he would likely attempt it, as he'd adopted the paranoid practice of writing all of the necessary materials into his ages. He's been exploiting the natural resources and the people of Riven as fodder for his mad pursuit to further his colonialist ideals. Thankfully, it sounds as if he's not yet succeeded. As painful it has been, the fact that I've returned to Riven at this crucial juncture is fortuitous. The age is crumbling, my people are suffering, and if Gen succeeds in securing his freedom, other worlds will suffer the same. The Moiety are looking to me. I may only be mortal. I have to do something. Okay. This is the teardrop machine. I think this is the valve that I already opened. And then this is probably the code. And then it goes into this thing. Yeah. I don't know that that gives me any more information, but she knows about it. It's been a long time since my last entry. There's so much to tell. It was hard to recognize, but I found the Star Fisher. It is located on what Gen refers to as his Temple Island. Though the Moiety prefer to use the Rivenese word Alapo, which means water pool. They've thus taken to referring to the void itself as Alatuan, Pool of Stars. It's the very fissure that allowed Atris and me to escape this age without leaving a linking book behind us, though it has since been sealed with a skin of heavy iron. Shit. That's the code. Alright, several derelict devices from that time remain mounted to its surface, including a hatch with a windowed viewport, a large telescope, and the mechanical lift that was used to install it, combination to which was acquired by the Moiety long ago. So, the teardrop machine is protecting the starfisher, for lack of a better term. Okay, teardrop code. Now this is going to be in the spinner numbers, but we're going to have to translate to the Denis numbers. Is that the difference? These are Riven. The other numerals are Denis. Good thing I already solved this cipher. Should be very easy to convert them. Okay. Alright, we're gonna have to convert those to real numbers, and then real numbers to Denis numbers. Okay, that's a 2, 3, 6, 8, 3, 7, 9, 9, 9, 8. Okay. And then we're going to convert those to the Denis numbers, which are right here. So 2 is... I know these are tiny. You probably can't see them, which is fine. 3, 6 is the plus sign. 8. Cool. I'm glad the note cam ended up working out. It's kind of a random idea that I had. 7. 9. It's the 2 rectangles. 8. Alright, cool. That's the teardrop code, aka Starfisher. That's probably how we signal Atris to get back home. So we're not going to do that until we rescue her. In the early days, the moiety briefly considered reopening the fissure. Thankfully, they decided against it. Had they attempted it back then, the results might well have been catastrophic. Were they to do so today, it would certainly mean the end of Riven. I'm told that in the days immediately following Gen's confinement on Riven, he attempted to determine the feasibility of navigating the stars beneath the fissure. We learned that through his journal. For he had seen the mist book fall from Atris's hands into that very same space. Which is how we got to mist in the first place. He dropped the book. To this end, he sacrificed several poor souls, alleged transgressors of the law, by throwing them into the hatch so he could observe their fate. It is said that they did not die, but what becomes of them remains a mystery. And that original Fisher is no longer alone. New ruptures have appeared in recent years at various locations around the islands. In some instances, the Moiety were able to glimpse the breaches before Gen and his minions moved in to contain them. Their descriptions support my suspicion that the forces that are tearing Riven apart are more than merely geological. More troubling, however, is that Gen is not simply containing these rifts, but is somehow using them to travel between the islands, those are the spinning domes, and that he's also reportedly devised a way to harvest the energies from the expanse for some as yet unknown purpose. How like him to wantonly exploit for his own selfish gain that which he does not understand. The star field beneath the fissure is not as it seems. It is a gentle space, as hospitable to light as a flowing river. That is how Atris described his brief time within the expanse before he linked out, leaving his mist book adrift within it. He was never able to conclude on its nature, but I cannot help but feel that there must be some greater something behind it. Numa? Something I should have mentioned earlier. One of the colossal blades that appeared in the course of our escape from Riven, the great dagger that stands at one end of the fissure, has been adopted by the Moiety as the emblem of their struggle. They have their own explanation, as it came to be, of course, but their choice is more apt than they know, as that dagger, along with the other blades, was a manifestation of my rage at the desecration that Gen had already wrought upon my world. I haven't told the Moiety that I wrote it into this age, as I fear that would only fuel their overestimation of me, but I can't deny it pleases me to have inadvertently provided them with such a fitting symbol for their cause. My limited encounters with Gen's followers have been discouraging. Whenever I've attempted to engage them, they fled from me. I heard an interesting tale from the Moiety last night, which may help explain this. Soon after we trapped Gen on Riven, he claimed that it was he who had been responsible for the Great Blades, summoning them as a preemptively punitive reminder of the obedience that he expected. In the village circles, it is told that this act marked the beginning of a period of restitution, at the end of which, provided they had proven their devotion to him, they would be delivered unto a new and better existence. I will continue my attempts to intervene on their behalf. The cage has finally failed. Gen is freed. My sources have confirmed that Gen has managed to create a functional linking book. In fact, he had done so before my arrival, but kept this accomplishment so well hidden that only his closest acolytes were aware of it. In keeping with his callous regard for the worlds he creates, he simply named this age 233. Is that the book that was in the gold dome? I might have mistranslated the number. It is not yet known whether he has written others. I've also just learned that years ago the Moiety scout managed to steal a book that was an early failure that Gen had intended to destroy. It was largely complete, but did not work. I wasn't told about it until now because they thought it was useless. Gen struggled for decades, but he could never get a conventional linking book to work. Then, one day, he began construction on a cumbersome mechanical solution, a complex array of devices designed to harness the energies of the starry expanse and use them to suppress his book's inherent flaws. That was the gold dome puzzle that we had to solve. The design phase was chaotic and often dangerous, the Moiety tell of tremendous explosions as Gen sought to contain and wield forces he knew little to nothing about. But he is nothing if not determined, and eventually he was able to use this enormous crutch to link to another age. I can't deny his brilliance, but it is an abominable solution, brutish and overwrought, and all but entirely unnecessary. I've studied the partially burned book that the Moiety took from him. That's the book to get here. Although he sought retribution for the affront, it appears to have been otherwise untroubled by the theft, no doubt assuming the book would be useless in the Moiety's hands. But I can see what they could not. The book may yet be salvageable. The age the book describes is wholly unsuitable as a home for the Moiety, but I think it can be modified. I will dream. This is Tay, where I am now. I've nearly finished writing the Moiety's age. The world, as described, is harsher and more desolate than they are used to, but they should be able to sustain themselves there. But we'll need a second book. Gen has been spending most of his time on 233 lately, so the danger is less, but getting into his lab will still be difficult. The coming collapse weights the air, blurring my vision both day and night. We must act soon. Gen. Success. We've secured a second book, though I worry now that Gen will miss it and deduce our plans before we're ready. The descriptive book I've prepared as a refuge for the rebels is useless unless I can find a way to correct its inherent flaws. Gen's massive machine mainly functions to manipulate the energies within the expanse. It serves its purpose, but its excess seems unwarranted. The Rivenese have long used crystalline substances as an elegant means to manipulate light. If I could just find the right material. Crystalline substrates manipulate light. That's the marbles. What are they called? Yeah, power marbles. Last night's dreams have delivered me a perilous plan. I will write this substance into the new Moiety age. What is this? Okay, this is a linking book. Is this describing the lens that I needed to use to get in here? If we could temporarily access Gen's apparatus, we could use our book to link to this new age and search for the crystal. Someone would then have to carry the book back to safety once the link was made. If it fell into Gen's hands, all would be lost. When Gen links to 233, one of his acolytes always remains to shut down the device. We have to get him before he can do so, which means we'll only have one chance before they're alerted to our presence. Everything is ready. I've written the material into the new age, and I've prepared the second linking book as a return path to Riven. Of course, it too suffers the same deficiencies as all of Gen's books, so it won't work unless it's augmented. Once I'm in the new age, I'll have to locate the crystal and adapt it to heal the gateway image, which should render the book functional. I can then use the second linking book to return to Riven with more of this material. It's risky, but if it all goes well, the Moiety and any others we can convince to join them will finally have an escape. I can't help but laugh at the absurdity of this plan. I sound like Atros. Should I fail to return, it will likely mean the end of my life. But my only real fear is for my people. Everyone assures me that they have complete faith that I'll accomplish my task and lead them to a better world. That's the fulfillment of the prophecy, after all. But underneath, they're just as tense and fearful as I am. What will become of them if I do not return? Will they perish here on Riven, or attempt to follow me through this new book to an unknown fate? I don't know what to tell them. Against all odds, it's done. We've already evacuated most of our members to this new age, which the Moiety have named Te. The world is more beautiful than I'd anticipated, so I am pleased. The Rivenese have been liberated at last. They stand beneath the open sky, unafraid, dazzled by their freedom. They're happy. But there's still much to be done. The age is still vulnerable. The only way to completely protect it from Gan is to destroy the books once everyone is safely in Te. I'm hesitant to bring this up with the Moiety until they've had a chance to acclimate themselves to the new world, as it would mean that they would forever be exiled from the only home they've ever known. Nor am I eager to sever my own connection, my only path back to my life and family unmissed. But for the greater good, it must be done. For the moment we're safe, but our activities could arouse Gen's suspicions at any moment. We cannot delay. I will return to Riven tomorrow to resume my attempts to persuade the remaining holdouts to join the others in Te. For now, though, I must rest. And that's probably when she was captured. Okay. What did this say about the code to free her? You'll need the combination to release me. Hey, Zig. I think we're in the home stretch. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but all the big puzzles have been solved. Told he keeps the combination somewhere in his outpost on 233. Alright. I keep buffering. You keep buffering. Yeah, I've played for like 8 hours so far today. Now what? Don't click that. That's a death sentence. Um, hmm. Yeah. Can't even save. Okay, well that's all. Oh, there we go. Hello. Is that a fucking huge circular saw? Shut up for a little while and enjoy the music. Yeah, you know what gave me the biggest problem was translating the Denis numbers to the Rivenese numbers. Once I figured that out to get the order, I I got them all. Yeah, process of elimination. I wanted to try to not brute force my way through as much as I could. I brute forced my way through this thing with the colored marbles. I got the colored marbles, but then the little colored discs. I figured them all out except purple. I just brute forced my way through that. But yeah, I've been surprised with how my brain has gotten a hold of the puzzles. cool how these people moved in, and it looks just like the village in the jungle island does. It's like, hey, man, this is how we build houses. I visited Gen. I left Gen. I visited Catherine. Yeah, everything was pointing me to this place. He wants me to bring him the linking book, which I would gladly do. The linking book. Yeah, kind of getting that feeling. There's like 2 more puzzles that I have the solutions to, but I just need to get there and do it. Oh, wait, wait! There's still more stuff I wanted to look at. Let me go back up. Okay, well, hopefully it wasn't important. Well, you think this place is important? I don't know. Maybe you could jam a few more daggers into there. Is there a way out? Okay. Maybe we check out this rebel linking room first? So what else do we have to do? We have to capture Gen, rescue Catherine, and then once both those 2 things are done, signal Atris. I assume signaling Atris is... those are some shitty shadows. Polygon shadows. Signaling Atris is probably the Starfisher puzzle. So we'll save that for last. Rescuing Catherine requires a code that Gen keeps in age 233, so I probably need to capture him first, get the code, rescue her, then signal Atris. Still want to check out this linking room first. Okay. One, two, three, four on that wall. 2 and 3. So we're going 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Oh shit. Was that visible from the outside? How did I never see that? I'm sorry, I walked through this hallway a dozen times with that lens up. And there was a dagger? No. No way. Wow. Well, yeah, and it always looked suspiciously like a door to me. Oh shit, did I do it wrong? I did it wrong. I remember walking by it and saying, that looks like a door. I mean, in the journal it says to Rebel linking room, but I don't think I have any context as to what that means. That's the door. Should I save? I'm saving. That looked like an ominous you'll see. Oh, can I only have 10 saves? Coming up on 10 hours of gameplay here. Fool me once. Wait, what? Aw, oh, you gotta be kidding me. They got me again. Bastards. It's gonna go down to the water. You bitch. Alright. So that's literally just another way that there. Alright. What's the fastest way to Dome? Probably just the maglev. Yeah, have fun. You have to tell me how it is. Trust me, there's still tons of secrets that you haven't seen. Okay, so we're going back to the book. To the front again. She said he would still be suspicious. I don't know what that means for me in terms of gameplay. I think I'm gonna need to convince him or something. So I started watching a playthrough on YouTube of OG Riven just to see the differences, and it's crazy how much they changed. More than I would have thought. Yeah, especially for a game that like you play it once and you've pretty much seen it all. You gotta change stuff. More than just graphics. Or else what, you speedrun Riven in 20 minutes? Then you're done?
Well done. I was greatly relieved when I received word that you had recovered the book. I don't quite know how you managed it, but if I may.
Go for it, man. Knock yourself out.
Thank you.
I mean, don't read it. Just touch the picture. It's probably all fine. It's a weird page-turning animation. Yeah, you're good. Just go ahead.
Perhaps it would be best if you went through first.
No?
You may need some time to decide. That is reasonable.
Well,
Please understand, there is nothing I want more than a chance to resolve matters between Atris and myself.
if I go
Especially
in
light of what has
untrapped,
become of Catherine.
but if he goes in after
But
me,
unless you are
then I
willing to
get kicked back
demonstrate to
out.
me that your intentions are honorable,
That's how it works.
I cannot risk it. The sanctuary I've been writing for the islanders is nearly complete. After all these years, it would be a shame if I were unable to finish it.
So he'll see me go in there and I'll be like,
The work I am
everything's
doing is
fine.
quite demanding. Please don't signal me unless you've decided to use the book.
How do I signal you? Do I need to leave and come back? Also, didn't he put the book on the table? Yep. Shame on me. Always click first and ask questions later. Shame on me. Alright, where am I going? Going to the dome. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Man, they did it to me twice. They got me twice with the same gag. Oh. Trying to do my location, not my... Never mind. I was trying to do my destination. Where the hell am I? Boiler. Vertical line. Yeah. The double door. Why would they give me a map to the Rebel linking room if I had to go through the Rebel linking room to get her journal in the first place? That seems a little circular to me. Yeah, I guess. It would make sense in a real world that not everything is laid out for some random person to come through and solve your puzzles. I guess. It's a shortcut, but it's really not all that short, is it? I should have just loaded my save from before I warped to 233. Oh well. I'm committed now. Oh, and also, there was a lever in that chair room that raised this bridge. Why would I ever want to raise this bridge? Lore, I guess. Oh, there he is.
I'm relieved you've returned. I thought perhaps you had decided against it.
It's not how you carry goggles in your hand, buddy.
Here, I shall follow you directly. Please.
Okay, here we go. Clicking on it.
You're free to go.
I was literally clicking on it.
I think you should not come back unless you're willing to use the book.
Okay, try it again. I'm loading the save this time. Just leave the room, dude.
Well done. I was greatly relieved when I received word that you had recovered the book. I don't quite know how you managed it, but if I may, thank you.
How did he know I recovered the book? It had been in my bag since I left Tay.
Perhaps it would be best if you went through first.
There we go. Come on, man. We get him? We got him. Oh, I thought I was going to see his stupid face in there. Okay. We need code. It's probably sound-based. Can I go out there? Smooth. Gen's a pretty decent saxophone player. This is his hair dryer. Okay. Stairs down. It's a heater. Keeps his toes nice and toasty. Oh. I guess it also does that. These books. Oh, that really looks like something I should interact with. Okay. Yeah, a little smoke. Looks like perfume or something. Not going in there. Alright, so there's an outdoor and there's a ladder down. Bedroom. Oh, oh. Got a sink. A little nightlight. Oh, here's his, whatever the hell he was playing. To gain my husband and my salvation, I something myself to the love that rescue me. Maybe dad. Come back to that. Spare shirts. It's one of those projectors.
Tagamem, san boteganshem, fasi.
That was probably his wife. Oop, hello. Hmm. Okay. I start this latest journal with astounding news. Catherine has returned to the Fifth Age. And though it sets my teeth on edge to say it, she has also vanished as quickly as she appeared, stolen from me by the rebels. As my guard tells it, she linked into the Fisher Plateau cage, just as I'd surmised, when suddenly he was set upon by a band of rebels who darted him and spirited her away. I suspect the truth of the matter was that he He was so dumbfounded, actually witnessing someone link in after all this time, that he presented an easy target for whichever rebel happened to be nearby. That damnable luck of it. He did get a good enough look at her, though, to verify that it was indeed Catherine. He also claims that he inspected all of her belongings and found no linking book on her person. A fact that I find hard to believe, but if true, makes the question of why she's returned here all the more puzzling. While I'm sick with frustration at having lost the only quarry that Cage has ever caught, I am also filled with hope, as she may yet provide me with a way back to Denis. It's true that I've managed, despite overwhelming odds, to break free of the confines of the Fifth Age and resume my mission to save my culture from extinction, but I fear that unless I am able to regain access to the vast resources that lie in the city's ruins, the task of resurrecting that great civilization will be impossible. Catherine did bring a linking book with her, that I am halfway there. If not, then she's trapped in the Fifth Age, and I can only assume that my emotionally crippled son will soon be along to rescue her. Either way, it's crucial to my plans that I find her soon. Presence here now forces me to take the rebels more seriously. I should never have permitted them to survive this long. Once again, the great work has demonstrated its usefulness to me. The villagers have been difficult to manage in the wake of Catherine's arrival, and their fear of this mythic beast has been all that's kept them in line. So it's a work. Had I known how truly useful these prodigious creatures would prove to be, I would have captured more of them while the local population was still plentiful. Although, to be sure, if these disturbances continue, my current pets will be in no danger of perishing for lack of nourishment. The search for Catherine continues. I deeply regret my mistake of having her taught these primitive people anything at all about the books. It seems that with each passing day, I more sorely realize the extent to which they were not ready for that knowledge, not even in the simplified manner which I presented it to them. Their minds, adapted only to the exceptionally menial tasks of village life, were incapable of comprehending the art in all its complexity, and were thus unable to glean any of the underlying principles that are, ironically, so elegantly simple. It is obvious that so much of the discord that exists between us stems from their failure to grasp the meaning of the information I gave them. If they had been able to gain even the smallest glimpse of that glorious future I had planned for them, this conflict would not exist. The minds of the children, however, are much more malleable. With the proper tutelage, they have developed a more appropriate posture towards the culture that has given them their lives. At times, they take to it almost as if they had a bit of Denis blood in them. Given the natives' inborn limitations, however, I am quite careful that none gain a level of understanding that would permit them to sin against their future the way that Catherine did. How foolish I was to think that she could wield such knowledge responsibly, when it was quite clear that my son could not. Atris. Still, he remains one of the greatest disappointments of my life. I should never have left him with my mother. By the time I'd returned for him, he had already been poisoned to all thoughts of aiding me in my noble mission. Perhaps that was the only way she could soften the fact that she had been responsible for the collapse of the entire civilization. So much destruction, so many great lives lost. The guilt must have been unbearable. She did seem to love my father and our world, but ultimately she was an outsider whose ignorance of the Denis became a catalyst for their demise. If I'm able to rebuild our culture, and in the process correct such weakness, then perhaps what she did was ultimately necessary in order that a new and stronger era of prosperity might someday come to pass. I've been increasingly beset by images from the past these last few weeks. As I stood in the schoolroom today, I was reminded of my own childhood, the years I spent in the Makers Guild, the Bookmakers Guild, Father's immense pride at each of my small accomplishments there. He was an important man in the Denny world, but I cannot bear to think of him for long. It's too much. I was too young to see such things. I have her. Late last night, I received word that Catherine had been apprehended while attempting to persuade some of the villagers to join her. I lost a few men in the process, but I would have gladly paid 100 times that number for such a prize. She's been imprisoned in my old office, where I've been attempting to gain some insight as to the reason for her return. I've had to fight the all but constant impulse to put her on the gallows, as she adopted the most infuriating stance of only answering my questions, when she answers them at all, in her native tongue. Even so, she's a poor liar. I'm now certain that her return to Riven was unintentional, and that she brought no linking book with her. As far as her willingness to share with me the location of the moiety, we shall see. Without their leader, however, they are once again powerless against me. If Catherine's coming home was indeed an accident, then Atris is bound to come for her. That is a given. The question I must now consider is, how will he attempt it? Is it likely that his hesitation is due, at least in part, to this dilemma? One way or another, though, he'll have to bring a linking book to get back. There's no other way. It's late and I cannot sleep. I've lost so much of my life, my people, my father, my son, and you, my wife. Kita, you're the only true kindness I've ever known. Watching you flicker there in the imager, I sometimes wonder if you were real. If I could restore your life with my pen, I would do so in an instant, and leave the rest of the world to their own wretched fate. Damn these savages. I'd be well advised to leave them all in the Fifth Age and begin again with a clean sheet of paper. A stranger has arrived on Riven, with a linking book to Denis. That must be me. Once again, my useless minion was overtaken by the rebels. From what little I could decipher of his muddled explanation, it apparently occurred sometime this morning. The cage mechanism has been damaged, but that's no matter. Everything I need is here now. Atris is certainly behind this, but why would he send someone else in his stead, and with a linking book no less? Surely he would have guessed that I'd be waiting for him. Such recklessness is unlike him. Could it be that he's had a change of heart toward me? That after all these years, he's finally decided to let his poor old father go? Ha! I know all too well where his loyalties lie. He's only after one thing. Perhaps this stranger should find her. For now, I need only to wait and observe. I'm beginning to think it was a mistake to allow the stranger to roam freely about the islands. In their ignorant probing, they attempted to power the damaged drawbridge. Not my fault. From Temple Island, and the entire bridge collapsed. Not my fault. A trivial loss at this point, but it irks me all the same. I'd not yet managed to free myself from that rumbling age. It would have hampered my progress severely, but again, it is no matter now. The day will soon come when I will be done with Riven forever. Disconcerting news. Last night, a group of maintainers happened upon a lone rebel scout, and we were able to engage him long enough to learn of a most implausible device, a crystal window, supposedly capable of amending my linking books. That would make sense, much the way that my own remarkable system does, but with one slight advantage. It is small and weighs only a few pounds, making it entirely portable. If this outlandish claim is true, then the artifact in question must be something that Catherine fabricated prior to her capture, no doubt from an explicit Denis schematic she brought. If only I'd had access to such a document all these years. We know that that's not the case, but this is what got us to Tay. The port of this revelation is deeply troubling. Some years ago, the rebels managed to abscond with a dysfunctional linking book I'd intended to destroy. The book was never recovered, but once they had sufficiently atoned for their sacrilege, I graciously decided to let the matter slide, thinking that in their inept hands it could do no more harm. But if Catherine has indeed empowered them with such a device, the rebels may well have linked to another age. It also means that 223 is no longer safe. Is that 223? I thought it was 98. Doesn't matter. That cannot stand. The stranger is the key to all of this. Tracking their movements has given me a good idea where this rebel linking book and the crystal may be hidden. But before I can deal with that, I must rescue the linking book. I must secure the linking book back to Denis. Everything hinges upon that. If I can regain access to my arsenal of resources there, I will happily leave the whole of Riven to its own dismal future. Imager codes. Imager codes. Gita, which we already heard, is 5. Father is 2, 3. Jenna is 2, 3, 5. Oops. Get back here. 2, 3.
Now, my turn. You want to record something so always you will remember. What is English for scramape? Scum from above. Your appearance should have inspired us to a better future. What does it mean for us as a people if we cannot embrace worlds outside our own? You were an angel from above. Always you will be my angel from above.
Talking to Gen?
The Denis Council knew it. They knew. If I hadn't tried to force my own ideals on your world, you would still be alive. You would still be alive. I wanted a life full of magic, full of books that bridged worlds, that lit up the darkness like stars. The possibilities were endless. It's just us now. You'll never have the life you should have had. Somehow my love and compassion, it took that. I don't know how. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Again.
That's Gen's mom. Okay, I'm still looking for the combination to Catherine's cell. Take a screenshot of this too. Give me one moment. Sorry, my display is messing up like crazy. Bear with me. Restarting Riven. Should not have alt-tabbed. God forbid you play a modern game and you can alt-tab out of it. Alright. What? We've got like stowaway Rivenese on this island? That's a picture of a spinner totem. Burned book in here? What is that? I don't want to click on that. Alright, well, we'll save. Oh, now it's not working? The hell? Okay. Alright, I still need that code. That elevator had 3 buttons. They all made a different sound. So I need some sort of sound-based clue, no? This is the only thing that did sound. But that's not helpful. Once Gen is out of the way, you'll still need the combination to release me. I'm told he keeps it somewhere in his outpost on 233. Could the combination be 233? Or am I missing something? This is his outpost, correct? Didn't you already play Outlast? I could have swore you did. Or have you not finished it? Uh, I feel like I'm 99% through this game. And I'm stuck. Yeah, give me some time. It's gotta be here. Hmm. There it is. Ding, ding. Ding, ding. Tap. Scrape. Ding. Let's go get Catherine, shall we? We need to go through the dome. In my defense, I got this double door bullshit in a half a second. So, there's that. What's Prison Island? Dot with a half of a slit. Going up.
We have to move quickly. Gen's people may already know what's happening. Once we're back with the moiety, we'll have time to regroup. Can I see the book? You did it. You captured Gen. We're all free. But there's still his followers. I'm not sure what they'll do once they realize he's gone. I have to get the villagers to safety as soon as possible. And you go back to where you first arrived and reopen the fissure. I know it's risky, but it's the only way to signal Atris. I'll try to make it back there as soon as possible, but don't wait for me. Oh, and don't forget the combination in my journal. You'll need it.
Oh. Alright. This should be it. Got my code right here. G3683799998. Going back to Dome Island, which is single dot. I think I'm like 5 minutes from the end. So yeah, I'll be beating it. If you don't want end of game spoilers, you should probably stop watching now. See ya. Alright. 2. 3. 6. 8. 3. 7. 9. 9. 9. 8. Not really sure what. What's the goal here? To lower it again? Don't I want to get that through the hole? That's gotta go through there. Give me a break. Oh, this is totally the Fisher with the plating. Alright. That's gotta go through there. There we go. Now we go up. Get up there. This is a good thing, right? It's great. I want more.
There isn't much time. Where's Catherine? Where's the book? I don't understand.
Atris! The villagers are safely in the rebel age. I thank you.
As do I. You've accomplished more than I could have hoped for. You've given me back my life. The path home is now clear for all of us. This is where our paths must part. Perhaps we'll meet again someday. You know where to find me. Goodbye, my friend. Now I understand. Endings and beginnings are within the fissure. That riven cleft of stars that acts as both a wall and a bridge. And though I'm unable to understand how, the very flow of stars that brought my mist book into worthy hands, I am sure served as a safe passage hole for my friend. The age of Riven has come to a close, but the people of Riven are free. And now I am at rest, understanding that in books and ages and life, the ending can never truly be written.
Yeah, it's on the list. I don't know if I'll be up for a puzzler right away, but probably be buying it during the summer sale. I kind of miss the live action actors. Yeah, the animated people just kind of looked a little uncanny valley to me. Like, I miss seeing Atris, the actor. But, yeah, everything else was great. Change the dialogue too. You'd think that they could just keep the voice lines. But why even re-record everybody else? Unless they wanted to add and wanted it to blend well. Cool. Well, thanks for hanging out. It's a lot of fun, especially with other people watching. See you later.